The sand of Egypt has guarded her secret for over 3,000 years. We know her face, immortalized in stone, a vision of power and beauty that has transcended millennia. We know her name, Nefertiti, the beautiful one has come. But the one thing history has fiercely withheld is the truth of her end. For centuries the silence was absolute, broken only by the whispers of archaeologists and the rustle of papyrus. But now a new voice has spoken from the dust, a voice woven into the very fabric of her being. The long-awaited analysis of Queen Nefertiti's DNA has begun, and the fragments of genetic code are not just telling a story, they are whispering a warning. What they reveal about her death is not a simple historical footnote. It is a terrifying glimpse into a world of betrayal, religious revolution, and a murder so perfect it nearly erased her from existence itself. This queen was no mere ornament to a pharaoh's court. She was the co-architect of a revolution that shattered the bedrock of Egyptian society. At the side of her husband, the heretic pharaoh Akhenaten, Nefertiti helped overthrow a pantheon of ancient gods, replacing them with the single dazzling deity of the sun disk, the Aten. This was more than a theological shift. It was a violent political upheaval that stripped the powerful priesthood of its influence and concentrated absolute power in the royal couple. Art from this period shows her not standing behind her husband, but beside him, smiting enemies, wearing the crown of a king, ruling as an equal. She was the flesh and blood embodiment of a new world order. And then, at the height of her power, she vanished. Around the 12th year of Akhenaten's reign, the inscriptions simply stop. The carvings cease. The most powerful woman in Egypt disappeared from the record as if she had never been. The mystery of that disappearance is the chasm into which we now peer. Theories have always abounded, of course. Perhaps she died in a plague that swept through the new capital of Amarna. Perhaps she succumbed to the perils of childbirth, a common fate for women of her time. But these mundane endings feel inadequate for a figure of such monumental presence. They do not explain the utter lack of a tomb, the complete erasure of her burial in a culture obsessed with the afterlife. To deny a pharaoh, or a queen of her stature, the rituals of eternity was not an oversight. It was an act of annihilation. This silence points to something far more sinister. Some historians suggest she fell from favor, was exiled, or even that she transformed, taking on a new identity as the mysterious pharaoh Smenkhkare, to rule alone after her husband's death. But the most chilling theory, the one that the DNA now forces us to confront, is that Nefertiti was removed permanently. This is where modern science reaches its hand into the dark recesses of the past. The field of Egyptology has been revolutionized by genetics, allowing us to peer directly into the biological lineage of the 18th dynasty. We have learned, for instance, that the boy king Tutankhamun was the product of a brother-sister union, his frail body plagued by congenital ailments. The royal family tree, it turns out, was a tangled, gnarled thing, where incest was a tool to preserve power. And at the heart of this genetic puzzle lies a mummy known as the Younger Lady. Discovered over a century ago, she was just another anonymous body until DNA testing revealed a shocking truth. She was the daughter of a pharaoh, the sister of Akhenaten, and the biological mother of Tutankhamun. For a moment the world held its breath. Was this Nefertiti? The evidence is tantalizing, but the plot thickens into something far more dark and complex. If the Younger Lady is Nefertiti, it means everything we thought we knew about her origins is wrong. It would mean she was not a foreign princess or a noblewoman from a different line, but was born directly into the innermost royal bloodline. This creates a terrifying implication. Her marriage to Akhenaten was not just political, it was profoundly incestuous. Her prominence, her power, her very identity would have been built upon a secret so volatile that its exposure could have destabilized the entire dynasty. And this is where the DNA evidence points not to a clear answer, but to a motive. If Nefertiti possessed this dangerous knowledge of her true incestuous origins, her death may not have been a tragedy. It may have been a necessity. Imagine the scene in the volatile years following Akhenaten's death. The old gods are roaring back, their priests eager to purge the memory of the Atenist revolution. The royal court is a nest of vipers, with rival factions vying for control of the child king Tutankhamun. And at the center of it all stands Nefertiti, a queen who knows too much. She is a living testament to the royal family's deepest, most damning secrets. She is a direct link to the heretical regime that everyone is now desperate to forget. She is simply put a threat. In this light, her sudden disappearance is not a mystery. It is a calculated political strategy. The DNA hints at a court where power, bloodline, and secrecy combined in a volatile mix, a place where even the most celebrated queen could be sacrificed for the sake of the throne. The terrifying revelation from the genetic data is not a single smoking gun, but a pervasive pattern of concealment and corruption. It suggests that Nefertiti's death was likely an assassination, followed by the ancient world's most brutal punishment, damnatio memoriae, the condemnation of memory. Her name was chiseled from monuments. Her images were defaced. Her body was hidden in an unmarked anonymous grave, robbing her not just of life, but of eternity. This was a double death, physical and symbolic, orchestrated by the very people who once bowed before her. The DNA doesn't just point to a corpse, it points to a conspiracy. It paints a picture of a cover-up so thorough, so complete that it almost worked. Yet the sand does not give up its secrets easily. The same DNA that offers these chilling clues also presents maddening uncertainties. The genetic material is degraded, contaminated by centuries and by the hands of early archaeologists. The identification of the younger lady is still hotly debated, and other mummies, like the enigmatic KV-21b, wait in the shadows as potential candidates for Nefertiti's remains. The science is a powerful torch, but it shines into a cavern of immense darkness, illuminating fragments of the truth without yet revealing the whole. This is the frontier of modern discovery, where CT scanners and ground-penetrating radar join the spade and brush in the quest to find her. The search for Nefertiti is more than an academic pursuit, it is a reckoning. It forces us to look past the serene beauty of her famous bust and see the ruthless political operator beneath. It challenges our romantic visions of ancient Egypt, replacing them with a far more human and therefore more terrifying reality of power struggles, betrayal, and the brutal cost of revolution. Her story is a timeless echo of what happens to those who dare to shake the foundations of the world, only to be crushed when those foundations shift again. The DNA has spoken its first fragmentary words. It has told us that the beautiful one who came likely met an end that was anything but beautiful. The rest of the story is still buried, waiting for the next shovelful of sand to be lifted, for the next genetic sequence to be decoded, and for the truth to finally, after 3,000 years, come to light.